So I decided to give Paramount Plus my $8.99 to watch the new Avatar Aang movie, and here's my review for it. So I think the movie was absolutely amazing. I'm so glad I actually paid to see it, so I'm somewhat contributing to the people who actually made the movie, because I know it got leaked and everything, and I know everything kind of sucks. 'Cause I really wanted to watch this movie in theaters. I think it deserves a theaters treatment after actually watching it. And honestly, I just could not see myself actually watching any of the leaks, because I feel like that would be a disservice to everybody that actually worked on the movie. But who cares, man? But anyways, after watching the movie, it is absolutely amazing. I love the visual like perspective from it. I love the new animation style that it came with. I think from the jump it backtracked, so it gave everybody like kind of gave everybody a recap as to what happened previously in the show. Very surprised that they didn't really mention anything about Fire Lord Ozai or anything like that, but I think everybody already knows everything, so I don't think that the writers wanted to insult the audience as to it's going to take the perspective of you don't know what happened and last, so here's a recap for everything. Like, no, everybody knows, because I think the writers is like, hey, only the true fans of Avatar is really going to be really watching this movie. But in my opinion, I feel like even if you didn't even know what Avatar was, you were still going to enjoy this movie, because objectively this movie is really freaking good. So the visuals and the atmosphere of everything was just absolutely great. Like, I know I have a sound bar in my house already, and it's just the audio, the visuals for the movie, the animation style was absolutely amazing. In fact, it reminds me just like the traditional Avatar animation, except they just times it by 10. It was absolutely amazing. It was almost like I was actually watching like a whole anime when it comes to this movie. And I definitely have to give it its props. It's definitely theater worthy. I mean, no shit, because it was supposed to come out in theaters originally, but it just makes me even more disappointed now that it did not actually come out in the movie theaters. Like, I was gonna ask my fiance and everything. I really wanted this movie to come out in the theater, so I can show my, I guess I could say, show my support a little bit, especially since this freaking movie got leaked, like, way back in, I think, earlier this year or something like that. And I think that's part of the reason why they decided to release it so early, because technically a lot of people's already seen the movie. A lot of people's already, I guess you could say, pirated it a little bit. And I guess the developers are like, you know what, screw it, let's just release it in July. I know we're planning a October theatrical release, but being that it's already leaked, is already out there, let's just say screw it and freaking release it already. But I do kind of wonder why they didn't stick with this kind of art style, especially with Seven Havens, because it just, to me, it just does not look like Avatar whatsoever, because it reminds me of Steven Universe or a Cartoon Network kind of art style. And I feel like that they just cooked way too much with this movie. Like, they set the standard high as hell, like up to the heavens with this damn movie, man. It's just ridiculous, because when you cook this much, it's like, how are you going to do better than that, or how are you going to keep that same standard, especially when you're going to have a new avatar and a new protagonist that everybody's supposed to like? They glazed the fuck out of Aang in this damn movie. Like, Aang, everybody knows that Aang is the absolute shit, because he was able to bring peace and balance to a world full of chaos. And it's so crazy too, because they highlight that heavily in this movie, especially when they go into the philosophical and ideal differences between Aang and Taga. And if honestly, I feel like the antagonists in this movie was also, it was so perfect for Aang specifically, because they both got trapped into ice, and they're both the very last airbenders of their kind. So it just kind of makes the most sense. Like, he felt like more of a personal villain to Aang, rather than just like Fire Lord Ozai, where he was just literally the big bad guy, and he was going to use Sozin's Comet to boost his firebending and then take over the entire world, basically. Like, Fire Lord Ozai was literally just the final boss of the series. That's kind of what it felt like, and then Aang just took him out for the most part. This villain was very much personal to Aang, because they're basically going through the same problem, except Aang is more forgiving, and he knows that two wrongs don't make a right when it comes to his current situation. So Aang is more so like, hey, I want to bring peace, balance, and prosperity to this world, and by doing that, I know I can't lead with revenge. Whereas with Taga, he was like, hey, the Fire Nation murked your people and the Earth Nation murked my people. We've been the punching bag throughout freaking history, and I'm tired of it. I'm gonna kill all these motherfuckers, and there's nothing that you can do to stop me. And the choreography and the fight scenes and animation scenes to the Taga fights were absolutely amazing. The sound and the voice acting was amazing. Like I think they cooked too much when it comes to this movie, man. Because how are you gonna do better than this with the new series? I'm just a little bit worried when it comes to that. But eventually, Taga and Aang, they both have the power of the staff, and then they both have the power of the spirit world running through their veins. And eventually, when Aang is about to serve the final blow to Taga and actually kill him, Aang, he remembers Gyatso's words and Gyatso's wisdom, and instead of finishing off Taga, he just destroys the staff that is used to actually make more airbenders amongst their world. So I guess essentially Aang just found another way of accomplishing his goal, kind of like how he found another way of stopping Fire Lord Ozai by taking away his bending. He found another way of making more airbenders by going back to the original airbenders, which were the air bison, and he took a lot of people up underneath his wings. So I think it just came full circle when it comes to what the whole entire series is about. Like, obviously revenge and killing and conquering other people is not the answer. I think that's the whole point of the whole entire series, even given the original series too. And it was just very much interesting because even when Aang took down Fire Lord Ozai and he brought peace and prosperity to the world, it wasn't perfect because obviously you have groups such as, I guess I could say terrorist groups such as the Denied. Obviously these guys they still carry a whole lot of hatred because Aang was literally gone for a whole century, and these guys were like, hey, they're basically an anti-Bender faction, and you slowly started seeing the political friction come about into the world, just like how it was presented in Korra. So obviously the world wasn't all the way perfect, but the movie still highlighted the good that Aang actually did bring to the world, which is very, very cool. And I did really enjoy like the narrative tone when it came to the movie too, because obviously this isn't like, no one is kids anymore. Even the characters in the movie has grown, just like with the audience, because obviously I'm not like a 10-year-old kid anymore watching this damn show. I'm a 27-year-old man watching the show too. So they weren't afraid to actually say like kill or murder or anything like that. I feel like in the original series they tried their best to actually avoid using, hey, I'm gonna kill you or I'm gonna murder these people or something like that. Like, it's much more of a mature kind of tone. It still had its like original silly goofiness too, but that's kind of expected. Like, I feel like if the movie just cut out all the silly and goofiness that it originally had, it wouldn't be Avatar, if I'm being honest. So I just thought that they were really cool. They did do a couple of shout outs, not really shout outs, but I guess you can say callbacks to a couple of trending things of the original series, such as the cabbage guy losing all of his cabbages or something, and Sokka being like the comedic relief. Luckily, when it comes to certain comedic relief characters in certain movies or shows, they kind of overdo it a little bit, and it turns out being cringe instead of funny. And I kind of hate it when that happens. But no, everything came out naturally. Everybody worked together. It was a great showcase of choreography in the movie. Nothing was too goofy. Everybody was basically taking everything seriously. So everything about the movie was extremely cool, and I feel like objectively this is just a good movie. So even if you weren't an original Avatar fan, you're still going to like this movie, and it was just amazing, man. So honestly, if I were to rate this movie out of 5 stars, I would honestly give it 5 out of 5. And I hope I'm just not giving it this rating because of just recency syndrome, because I literally just watched this movie just a couple of minutes ago, and I don't know, I think it just deserves that, if I'm being honest, especially from the very unfortunate series of events that's happened before this movie came out, like with the movie leak coming out, and unfortunately it's not coming out on movie theaters anymore because of this. So I guess the writers were like, hey, might as well drop it in July, since half of the audience is already watching the movie in the first goddamn place, which is a total disservice to the people who actually made the movie. But that's besides the point. And the controversy they had with the Netflix show and M. Night Shyamalan's terrible, worst movie I've ever seen on the planet, The Last Airbender, that came out in 2010. It's had kind of this franchise has kind of had a very rocky road, I guess, for lack of better words, really. So again, I feel like they just cooked too hard with the movie. I'm really curious as how they're gonna keep up the same momentum with Seven Havens, especially since they made it very clear that Aang is the GOAT of this whole series, man. Like, how are you gonna make an Avatar to live up or be even remotely just as great as Aang? So I don't know. Again, I think the writers are just doubling down that Korra just fucking sucks, and I guess this new Avatar has to undo the wrongings that Korra did before. So I guess we just have to see with Seven Haven. So I think this movie is absolutely amazing. Too bad I didn't get the luxury of viewing this movie in theaters and stuff. But let me know what you guys think about the movie down in the comments below. And yeah, I highly suggest that you go and see it. Actually, download Paramount Plus. Fuck Paramount. I'm not gonna lie, like they ain't shit. But yeah, actually download Paramount Plus or just subscribe, get the free trial, cancel it immediately, kind of like how I did, or whatever the fuck. And yeah, highly suggest that you guys go watch it, and I'll see you guys later.